Welcome to At the Cottage with me, ChefD, where today I'm getting on the bike because I know what we're going to be having in just a couple minutes. Turtle brownies, a Detroit version of pizza. It's going to be fantastic. And then we're going to finish it off with a s'more. I better get biking because I think I might gain a little bit of weight today.
Check this out.
Hey, ChefD here. We're back in the Windermere house with pastry chef Emily, right? Hey, Emily, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on. And what are we going to be making together today?
Today we're going to be making my turtle brownie.
Okay, turtle brownies. So is this a recipe that you came up for Windermere house for this summer?
Yes, it's actually one of my most popular desserts this season.
Okay, so what made you come to this beautiful place and want to work here this summer?
So it's actually my second year here.
Okay.
The first time I came for a co-op experience for my post-secondary school at George Brown.
Okay.
And then I actually really enjoyed the place and I liked the community of all the workers getting together and stuff.
Yep.
So I decided to come back and try it again.
Yeah, it is quite the community because you guys eat your meals together and you stay on property and all that, don't you?
Yeah, so you really get to know all of your coworkers and we become basically like a family that just lives together.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay, so what do you want me to get started?
All right, so first we need to start by melting our butter.
Okay. Yep, we got heat.
Perfect.
Okay, so this would be like 1 cup of butter?
Yep, 1 cup of butter.
So we're gonna melt this down, and then once this is melted, what am I gonna be adding to it?
So we're actually gonna just start pouring into our mixer bowl here,
Yep.
our 2 cups of sugar
Okay.
and our 1 cup of cocoa powder.
Okay,
And then we'll actually slowly pour in our butter
okay.
as we mix,
Okay,
using
so-
a paddle attachment.
Okay, perfect. Using a paddle, not a whisk, right?
No.
And why do we want to not use a whisk?
So it will actually get a little thick by the end of it, and so
Yep.
if you use a whisk, it'll be a lot harder to get out.
Okay.
Not to mention when we go to add in our pecans, that'll get a little caught in the whisk, and it
Okay.
could actually break the attachment if you're not careful.
And we don't want to do that.
No.
So we're just melting our butter here. So, okay, I know why I wanted to become a chef. Like, have you always wanted to be in the pastry side?
I actually have. So I grew up learning pastry from my grandmother. I'd be in the kitchen with her as she bakes and just watching, and so I've always had a deep love for it.
That's cool.
Not to mention a giant sweet tooth.
I hear you. Mine starts here and ends here.
And yeah. And
wow.
then I took a culinary course in high school actually.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with just being in the kitchen, and that's kind of what made me decide, like, I actually want to go into this. Like, it's not just a hobby.
Right. Now, is home up north or is home closer to Toronto?
So it's in Peterborough,
Okay.
which is just a few hours away
Yeah.
from Toronto. Yeah.
So you took the culinary program at George Brown?
Yes, I started with the culinary program,
Yep.
and then I went back and completed their advanced French patisserie program.
Wow. So
That's really
any
cool.
advice for people like you who want to get into this business?
My biggest advice would probably be really know your stuff.
Yeah.
The kitchen life is not really for everyone. It is a tough environment, but it can be really fun if you really get into it, if you learn the do's and don'ts of the kitchen, just all the lingo and stuff like that. And then it's really fun, like, getting to hear, like, all the feedback, like, people who take, like, one bite and have to stop and just be like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I love this, and like just getting the constant feedback is great.
I know, right? That's why I love it. That's why I've been doing it for over 40 years. Okay, so now what?
So now we're going to slowly pour it
Okay.
in as we mix our sugar and cocoa powder.
And on low, right?
Yes,
and
on
you
low.
just want this drizzled in, right?
Yep.
You're the expert here. Am I doing okay?
Yep. You can pour it just a little bit quicker. There we go. Perfect.
Okay, so then what are we going to be adding next?
So next we are going to be adding our eggs.
Okay. Do you want me to break them and put them in
Yes,
the bowl for
please.
you? Or just can I break them in?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay. You know, I always wonder, the first person who experienced eggs that they could do this many different things, you
I
know?
know, it's such like a versatile like ingredient. Like it gets used in so many different
Yep,
meals and stuff, and then yeah, it tends to be overlooked by everyone.
right? And how many eggs we actually go through and like in, you know, I know in your business and my business, and it's fantastic, right?
I'm pretty sure in a weekend we go through like 2 to 3 cases of eggs.
That's crazy. That's 15 dozen in each case, just in case you're wondering. Okay, so
Next, we're gonna add in our salt and our vanilla.
salt. Now you add salt to baking.
Yes.
How come?
So it does add a little bit of flavor, but it can also be used as a little bit of a leavening agent, kind of like baking soda. It doesn't work quite as well, but it does help
Okay,
in making something a bit
I love
fluffier.
it. So in our vanilla goes.
Perfect.
Okay, now what?
So now we're gonna start adding our buttermilk and our flour, interchanging little by
Okay,
little.
okay. Can I do this?
Yeah, of course.
Do you trust me?
I do.
Okay. Whew. So a little bit of buttermilk at a time,
Perfect.
and a little bit of flour,
Yep. You can actually stop the mixer to add the flour in, just so it doesn't go everywhere.
and just all-purpose flour or cake and pastry.
It's all-purpose flour.
Okay. So then, do you want me to add some more, or just wait?
Let it just mix for a minute.
Okay.
And then,
This is fun.
yeah, it is. You mostly just wait until it's mostly all incorporated,
Okay.
and then you can start going with the next.
Okay, like a third again.
Yep.
How's that?
Perfect.
And then a little bit of the flour.
All right.
Okay. And again, you want to keep it on low,
Yeah.
and you can do this at home. Sorry, at home at the cottage,
Of course.
right?
This is cottage country up here.
Exactly. Okay, so we're almost there. Again, just wait until it incorporates, or do we have to go a little bit farther yet?
No, we can wait till
Okay.
it incorporates a bit.
Last of the buttermilk. Why buttermilk? Was it just?
It adds like a certain flavor to it.
Yep.
Along with, because it kind of adds like a bit more of like that buttery note that you tend to want in baking.
Okay.
And we'll mix that again. And then if you just pass me that spatula,
100%.
and we'll just scrape the sides down.
Okay. Are you doing that, or am I doing that?
If you want to do it, you can. Or I
No,
can
go
do
for it.
All right. You just want to make sure that you scrape all the way to the bottom and make sure that there's no sugar, butter, or cocoa powder that was left unmixed.
Okay. This is cool.
And then turn it back on. You can actually turn it up to the second speed.
Okay.
There. Let it mix.
And now, what are we looking for the consistency side?
So it should be a little on the thick side, but you
Yeah.
don't want it to be completely,
Okay.
you don't want it to stick entirely to the spoon. You still want it to be a little liquidy.
Okay.
There we go.
So then, are we going to add our
Yes.
pecans?
So I'll turn that back on. And so you want chopped pecans. Either if you have half pecans, you can chop them up yourself, or you can actually buy them chopped as well.
And now, do I have to add anything else into this?
No, but we can grease our pan.
Okay. And do you want it greased with the parchment paper on it?
So we'll actually grease the pan first and then put
Yep.
the parchment paper down.
Okay.
This will just make it a lot easier to get the brownie out
Okay.
when we're done.
I'm so about that.
So of course you want to eat it out of the pan.
Well,
which
you,
you could.
know, we are at the cottage.
Exactly. Save
Okay.
on some plates.
Do you want any? Are we good?
Yep, it's good. Perfectly just like that.
Okay. Do we need any of your chocolate here?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
So what happens is we'll actually bake this brownie batter
Okay.
first. And then after it cools,
Yep.
we'll make a ganache
Okay.
and pour that on top of the brownie to give that really fudgy note to
Yep.
it. And then we'll add some more pecans on top of that.
Wow.
And
I
then,
can hardly wait.
And at the end, it gets like a caramel drizzle on top.
Okay. We are going to town.
It is a very decadent recipe.
Oh, this is amazing. Okay, so then I can. Oh, okay, perfect.
Move that over and then pour it in.
Perfect. And now, how high a heat oven are we going in at?
So it's 350,
Yep.
and it's going to be for about 25 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
And you should be able to insert a knife in the middle and have it come out pretty well clean.
Okay. Well, we'll take it inside. We'll bake it, and we'll check it out, and then I can hardly wait to make the ganache.
Yo, check this out.
Okay. Won't you join us?
check this out.
Hey, we're back here with Emily, and we've baked off our beautiful cake. It's really close to almost like a flourless cake, isn't it? Because there's not that much flour in it.
Yeah, so surprisingly, the brownie does turn out to be not super cakey, but at the same time, it's also not super chewy.
Yep.
And that's why I add the ganache on, is just to make it get that extra kick of fudge
Okay,
when
well,
you bite into it.
let's get to it.
All right.
Okay, so I got the chocolate here.
So first,
Two 2 2/3 cups of chocolate.
yes,
You're serious about this?
I know.
Now,
So it's semi-sweet chocolate.
Yep.
You could also exchange it though if you wanted dark chocolate or milk chocolate, depending on what your sweet level is.
Oh, good. Okay.
All right, so
Am I adding like the cream in first, or what am I doing here?
you normally add the chocolate in first.
Okay.
You pour that in, and then just immediately pour the cream in.
Really?
And yeah, so it's a very interesting ganache
She's going
recipe
wild.
where you add both in at the exact same time, and then surprisingly, it actually turns out really nice.
Okay.
You're just gonna kind of keep mixing it, but you want to be very careful you don't knock any of the chocolate out.
Okay. So
And keep scraping down the sides of the bowl as the chocolate melts.
wow, I got a big job here, folks. And 35% cream, is that what we're
Yes.
using? Or whipping cream? Am I stirring too soon?
No, you're good. Keep going. Yeah, you just want to make sure that you keep stirring all the way over the bowl so that none of the chocolate burns or the cream.
Right. And that's why we use a double boiler for this, because you could be silly and like I do and try and rush this and put it in a pan, right?
That does tend to happen for a lot of people when they try baking for the first time. They tend to rush things.
And baking's not a rushing.
No, it is very much the saying kind of is like you bake the day before.
Yep.
Whereas cooking, you cook the day of in the
Okay.
moment.
A lot more science involved in baking, isn't there?
Yes, I do get called a mad scientist in the kitchen a bit.
I was never good at science.
Oh.
Those of you who wanted to know. So, okay, we're going to stir this. So even with the double boiler that we're doing, can you burn it?
So you can if you let it sit for too long.
Okay.
That's why I recommend constantly stirring it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have a sore wrist after this.
And then once the chocolate looks like it's mostly melted,
Yep.
I'll actually normally turn off the heat
Okay.
and then just let the bowl rest on the hot water and continue mixing.
Okay.
And then it will slowly just completely incorporate.
How am I doing?
Pretty good. Just give some of the middle a good mix. Yep. You want to make sure that chocolate comes up. Yep.
Okay.
Perfect. Just like that.
Oh, wow. And now are we going to add anything to this?
So we'll actually be adding some chopped pecans on top after
Okay.
we finish pouring it.
Okay. Is it almost ready to pour?
Yep. As I bring the brownie back.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you pouring or am I pouring?
I can hold it if you want to
Okay.
scrape.
Just like right on? Nothing crazy? Oh yeah.
Right on.
I'm going to seal this back for a second.
Yeah, of course. It is easier to scrape when you're holding
It
it.
is, right? I don't know, there's just something about it, right? Okay.
Perfect.
And then just,
And then just move it around so that way you get
okay,
all
I'm
the
letting you do
corners.
that.
Perfect. Just like this. So that way you get some fudge everywhere.
Oh yeah. Just look how glossy that is. That's so beautiful.
All right, perfect. And now we can take our chopped pecans and just sprinkle them on top.
Just like so?
Yep, perfect. And then the nice thing in this recipe is you can actually add or use less nuts depending on how much you prefer the texture and stuff.
We like nuts. Am I doing okay here?
Perfect. Got a little bit of pecans everywhere.
Nice. Okay.
All right.
So that's it?
Yeah, so then normally I'll let this come back to room temperature.
Yep.
And then I will put some saran wrap on it and throw it in the fridge.
For how long?
Normally about a couple hours.
Yeah.
Just so that way it gives the fudge enough time to
sit, right?
Yeah, to set a bit.
We are not having that today. You are not having me outside making chocolate all day long
I know.
without me trying it. You know, and when chef comes to you and says, what happened to this one? Just
right.
blame me, okay?
All right.
There's one for you.
Oh, thank you.
See, use the fingers. One for me. Oh no, go for that.
All right.
So this is a Windermere turtle brownie, right?
Yes.
Sorry, crew. You're out of luck. I'm gonna be taking this to my room. Wow, that is so good.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Anybody who loves chocolate, this is for you.
Yo, check this out.
So what I thought is we'd kind of incorporate something different, and we're going to do like a Detroit style pizza where it's a thicker
Right.
crust, almost like that Chicago, not as thick as the Chicago, but we're going to get started. So we have some all-purpose flour. So we have 2 cups of bread flour. Sorry, I said all-purpose, I meant bread flour. They'll have your stronger glutens in it.
Yeah, so it does have a stronger amount of gluten in it, which just helps it to form those gluten bonds that you want in bread.
100%. Some instant yeast.
Yep.
So you don't need to bloom it in water, instant yeast. You just put it in and mix it in with your dry ingredients. Now we're going to take it up another notch. We're going to add some fresh rosemary into the dough. Again, just stir that all together.
All right.
And the great thing about this is we don't need to knead it. We're not going to knead it like you normally do, where you kind of bond everything together. We're just going to stir it together. It is a wetter dough. That's what you're looking for. And, a lot of times when we come to dough, that everybody wants it too dry. So we're going to some olive oil,
A lot of people's first reaction is to add more water.
right?
Or to add, sorry, more flour, not water.
Put the water in. And this was so great, like just away you go. So you know how you said in the earlier episode that you did a lot of baking with your grandmother?
Yes.
My first loaf of bread I made by myself, but then my grandmother used to make bagels, and I made bagels
yeah.
with her. And again, I love to hear the stories like that.
My grandmother's specialty was pies, actually.
Okay. What's your favorite pie?
It has to be apple pie.
Okay.
We have like a homemade crust that we can do, and then, yeah. Although our pumpkin pie is also one of our prized in our family.
Guys, I don't see any pumpkin pie. I don't see any apple pie. I think we have to come back and test this out.
It's a fall recipe.
Okay, well, I think crew, that means we're coming back in the fall. So again, just mix it so it's all incorporated. And look, it's still nice and sticky. That's what we're looking for. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put it in our pan. And this is a greased pan already. So just taking a little bit of pan spray that you all have in your cupboards. And then we're just going to spread it out. Like so. Now, if I was doing this for the cottage, I would, double or triple the batch, and away we go. So we're just going to incorporate it out. Then we're going to let it rest and rise for about a half an hour. If you wanted to, you could put it in the refrigerator overnight. And again, it's kind of giving that fermentation process of when the yeast kind of comes together, and it's just absolutely fantastic.
Most doughs tend to be better when they have sit overnight in the fridge.
100% right. We might leave it overnight in the fridge, and then we'll come back tomorrow and do this. Anyways, Emily and I are going to go get a coffee. We're going to let this rest, and we'll come right back. So in real time, we've rested our pizza dough for about an hour. You can just start seeing it spreading out. We're getting some bubbling happening, which is really great. if you have more time, put it in the refrigerator overnight. It's going to be absolutely even more fantastic than what this is going to be. So I thought we'd just keep it really simple, okay? So we have some fresh basil, some burrata, and of course some great tomatoes from our good friends down home. They grow them in greenhouses, absolutely fantastic. We're just going to rip this apart. Have you had this burrata cheese before?
I have actually, yes.
Okay, you might have to have a little bit more. You might want to try that.
All right.
Let's see how good that is. How good is that?
It's very nice. It's very nice and light cheese.
Yep. It's going to melt nicely for the pizza. You guys have a great pizza oven down in the pub, I hear.
We do, yes.
So we're going to take it down to the pub and, go from there. On the tomatoes go. And then we're going to keep the fresh basil. We're going to rip the fresh basil on it when we come back after baking it. What do you think of that idea?
I think that's the best idea.
I like when you agree with me. This is my food, and if my wife was here, she said, ChefD eats pizza all the time, and I do. I truly love it. So, in it goes. We'll be back in just a second. Emily, I have our pizza done.
Yay.
I might have shared a little couple pieces down with the team below because, it's hot down there.
To. Oh, yes.
So we're just going to grab some. And this is basil from your garden here at Windermere House.
Yes. We grow some of our own herbs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love basil. I know it's going to be hot, but try some.
That's really nice.
So, Emily, it's now 9 o'clock at night. You've just finished 300 covers in your restaurant, and now you're coming back out here to talk about this really cool thing that you've been doing.
Yeah, so these are Windermere s'more kits. They're completely handmade by the pastry department.
Yeah.
So we make the graham crackers, the chocolate, and then the marshmallows as well.
Wow. So is there any particular flavor of marshmallows in there?
So we currently actually have strawberry and vanilla on the go, but we are planning on changing the flavors.
So you have strawberry, vanilla,
Yes.
homemade graham crackers,
Yes.
the chocolate.
Tempered as well.
Okay, so we have a pretty good fire going here.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yes.
You want me to do this?
Of course.
Okay.
We have to.
I haven't done this since I've been a kid.
So bring back all the memories.
100%.
Do you want strawberry or vanilla?
I'm taking strawberry.
All right.
I'm pulling rank. Okay. So we're gonna put this on like so.
Yep.
Have I mentioned this fire's hot? And then homemade graham crackers.
Yes.
How cool is that? Now, before you came here, have you ever done homemade graham crackers?
I actually have not. This is all brand new for me.
Yep.
But they're actually surprisingly quick and easy.
Okay, cool. So Chef Aaron said, hey, I want this done, and you said, I can do this?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so what we're gonna do here, we're
All
just gonna warm this up and then put the graham crackers on?
Yeah, you
Okay.
can completely roast them pretty much the same way you would a normal marshmallow.
Okay. We're not gonna set it on fire, right?
Unless you put it right in the flames.
No. And does it come with the sticks as well?
Yes.
So then do you put the graham cracker on like so?
Yep. And then the other one has the chocolate and the graham cracker.
Oh. Oh yeah. So is this your first time ever making marshmallows?
I've been making them a couple times now.
Okay, so when you're whipping them, and when you're whipping them, you always think, is this the time it's not going to work, right?
Yes.
Right, because you just don't whip them for 2 minutes. It's like a 7-minute proposition, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah, and I always feel that. I always think, is this the time that it's not going to happen?
Then it is kind of satisfying though when you slowly see it start to pull together and you start to see
Yeah.
the marshmallow
Yeah.
just pull.
Lots, you put a little extra gelatin in. It's not a bad thing. Just
Oh, yeah.
Words wise.
Thank you. Much
Okay.
appreciated.
So, are you ready?
Yep.
Oh my God. That's the best s'more I've ever had.
Thank you.
That strawberry is amazing.
It's almost like a chocolate dipped strawberry.
These are really good. Emily, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun for me as well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, I'm Chef D. It's at the Cottage. We're around the fire. What doesn't say cottage life like a s'more? Check it out, Windermere House, and a whole lot more.